The answer is not to build a culture. It's to understand culture enough to influence what leads to the culture that we need for the best possible benefit of those that we serve. The culture is going to, as in the actions, the habits, the rituals and beliefs necessary to live out in that business will be clear when we unpack and understand the customer, their journey, who they are, what they seek, why they would need the business in the first place. It will reveal the actions and the habits and the beliefs and the philosophy the organization would desire to embody to ultimately create more value for the customers. And so it's more of a discovery process and a co-created process to figure out what are the values, what are the behaviors that we need to live up to be in the best state for the customers. So ultimately the customers and how they're served is what continues to bring value to the company, and how the team and the future team learns the values, because they see how their team shows up with the customers. The values are taught from being seen in how each individual that works for an organization relates to customers. And the order matters. It's relate to the customer in a way that aligns with the values, right, which represent the actions, the habits, the beliefs and behaviors that make the customer have more value than whatever they invest in the organization, that product, that service. That will frame, that will teach through osmosis the people the purpose, the mission, and that will influence how the team relates to one another. So it's when the company is talking and thinking about the customer, that's going to happen because it's clear on its purpose to serve its customers, and the team will be thinking about others other than themselves, which are the customers, and that lowers anxiety, that lowers stress, it increases self-awareness, it increases the likelihood of conversation and communication team member to team member, because it's not about each individual to themselves, it's about what each individual can do for the customer that translates to what they could do for one another serving the customer. So now the company as an organization, it's a machine, it's not a person. Think of the character of each individual. The culture is the soul of the organization. How that organization invests back in its people, providing resources and relationships and reasons for them to want to get involved and continue to learn and continue to get better and develop their own personal purpose and aims and achieve their goals within that company's growth. That then, in that customer-centered organization, leads to employees not feeling like employees and more so feeling like team members, like they're on a mission together for a cause towards a place. And that process is a never-ending process that has to constantly be renewed by the leaders or those that have the authority from a title standpoint that people are looking to. The title is for others, not for the individual. It's, in a sense, it's for the individual that's hired to the title to know what they're doing, to have the competency, and to have the wherewithal to show up every day and model their values in that capacity. But the title signifies to everyone else, this is, okay, that's who we're looking at for guidance. That's, okay, that's where we're going. Okay, they said that. Okay, what can I pick up? What can I do? What can I give up? And for who? Defining a culture is not the end, it's the beginning. And it imposes responsibility. It doesn't pass the buck and give permission for those in authority to come top down on everybody else that's not living the values that they so easily can cast down upon them. It imposes responsibility to be lived out, and how it could very well easily be defined and then imposed on others when the purpose is to clarify, this is how we've been living, this is what has been working, and you can too, and here we're going to keep going with this. When a company is small, it doesn't need to write down how it shows up, because it'll be out of business in about 5 seconds if it's not showing up in the way that it has to show up. It lacks reputation, it lacks resources, it lacks market penetration, it lacks customers, it lacks everything. So there's an inherent accountability but in the marketplace, from the marketplace, to impose personal responsibility of its shareholders, of its original management, whether that's founder and team. There's an imposition of responsibility from a lack. Accountability, right? It's nature. It's a lack. The larger it gets, now it's more than just a couple people. Make what is implicit explicit. It wouldn't even be in business if it's not implicit, meaning the values are not being lived out. There won't be customers. They won't stick around. That's when those that suffered in the past could very well, those are, let's say, founding management, very well easily chalk it in and not continue to model those values. And then the question becomes, well, who are we following now? And so the definition, the clarification and the defining of the values is a part of developing an idea and a bunch of people excited about that idea into an actual enterprise that has a scalable personal responsibility. Culture without personal responsibility is a half-truth, and half-truths don't get us very far. We want culture with personal responsibility, and we can have invisible scale. We can have movement, we can have energy, we can have excitement. In the face of risk, in the face of adversity, we want excitement because that's what gets market share and creates success. If you define your culture, you're on the way to building something meaningful. When we clarify what our culture is, our values, our mission, our goal, we will have the tools we need to attract the talent that's going to take the company to the next level and lift up our team, which so direly needs us to grow and build something worth building.